Thanks so much, Felicia. A new burn pit registry aims to create awareness and resources for soldiers exposed to toxins from the pits while they served. I spoke to two women who lost their husbands due to those toxins, and they're now a part of the fight for change.
It's two different stories.
Monday was the vision. Tuesday, the vision went white and they put him in the hospital.
The doctors had came in to talk to us and was like, this is not normal. And we've already treated the pneumonia and it's something else going on.
They both have the same ending, tragedy.
And he's like, I want to fight till I can't fight anymore. I said, okay, that's what we're gonna do. So they did one more radiation and he died 3 days later.
The next morning at about 3:45, then the hospital called and said he had passed away.
Diane Slape and Yoshinovia Harris were both married to soldiers. They now both grieve the loss of their warfighters. And they both have the same question. How did two soldiers with two different diagnoses have the same ending?
And we looked at each other and we said burn pits.
Sergeant First Class Frederick Slape served his country for 20 years. His death is blamed on toxins released from pits of burning material.
Where their motor pool was, it was about 50 feet from and both existing large burn pits. And so they breathed it, the smoke and the fumes that came from these burn pits. They breathed it in their sleep, they breathed it while they worked, they breathed it, while they ate.
Something 42-year-old Sergeant First Class Slape dealt with for several years before his retirement from the military in 2012. But Diane says it wasn't until a few years later that her husband started showing symptoms, leading to the discovery of several cancerous tumors that resisted treatment.
All the doctors, all the radiation, everybody comes in, the neurologist, the oncologist, and they're standing at the foot of his bed and they're like, well, there's nothing more we can do.
Which is where his story starts to line up with that of Yoshinovia and her husband, Staff Sergeant Jimmy Harris, who served in the military for 22 years.
We found out that it's cancerous and it's stage 4. And it's up to you guys what you want to do, but it's known as adenocarcinoma.
Staff Sergeant Harris's cancer in his lungs could not be treated, and doctors said his only option was to prepare for the inevitable.
They were like, so we decided that the next step would be hospice. And Jimmy looked at the doctors and he said, I know she might not be prepared, but I'm prepared.
Harris died a few weeks later. An autopsy performed by doctors at MD Anderson revealed his cancer linked back to his time in the military.
All they could link it to was that the fact that during his military career, what he could have been exposed to.
And because burn pit exposure has not been officially linked to these cancers, these women have combined their stories into one and are hoping for the same ending once again: justice.
They deserve so much more. They've given their lives for this country, and this is how they're being treated.
Diane Slape is a part of Burn Pit 360, the nonprofit organization that testified in front of Congress in 2016. They're now a part of creating a registry for the state of Texas. That was a part of a bill recently signed into law by Governor Greg Abbott. The registry will go into effect in September. Slape is also very involved with Fort Hood. We'll be hearing more from her a little later in our newscast.